Okay, we're trying something a little bit different here. I'm actually reviewing a track from a YouTube compilation, or I guess a YouTube video. So without further ado, let's dive into it. The soundtrack to Ocarina of Time, but it's a prog rock concept album by Dr Prez, VGM. So, Dr Prez is a YouTube channel on YouTube. I've linked them down below if you want to go and check them out. I actually heard them a couple of years ago when they covered Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire music medley. And these, there's a plethora of this style of music on YouTube that I love. There's symphonic metal tributes to Steven Universe, to Pokemon, to Legend of Zelda. But this one really caught my eye. I mean, this was done more than 4 years ago, 2017, but only now is starting to make its run on the circuit in terms of the progressive rock and prog scene. And this is the first time that I've really sat down and listened to it, because a lot of my friends and followers have made me aware of it. And now I'm doing this to you. So I sat down and I listened to it, and boy, oh boy, it is tasty. It is just mwah, mwah, mwah. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, a full disclosure, coming off of the get-go of this album review, or I guess this track review, I never actually played Ocarina of Time. I think that was for the Nintendo 64, I think. And I only had the N64 for a couple of months before we had to sell it. Sad. And the only Zelda games that I played growing up were the ones for the Game Boy. So I had the Seasons and Ages. And I played through both of those and really did love it. And then for the DS, I had the Phantom Hourglass, where I only got maybe about halfway through and ran out of the Hourglass sand. And then I was just like, nope, no more of this. But this past year and all of 2020 and 2019, I fell in love with Breath of the Wild. That was my go-to Switch game, and I played it for more than a year. Anyway, that's a little bit of founding for this. So I never really played the Ocarina of Time, so I didn't really know most of the music on here. Now, I did know a few of the more standout tracks. I mean, everybody already knows the major theme, the whole right? Everybody knows that theme, as well as right? So I enjoyed whenever those themes came up, but all the other stuff was relatively new to me. So I didn't really have a foundation for a lot of these tracks that are making their rounds in this medley. But having them being presented here was quite a treat, and I really did thoroughly enjoy the ebb and flows and how each of the themes were able to connect into the greater whole. And I loved how sometimes it sounded like Haken, sometimes it sounded like Dream Theater, sometimes it sounded like Symphony X, and how you can tell the boys that are behind this are lovers of this style of music, and they know when to channel each different style of music. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love how this really does create about a half hour's worth of a single track of progressive prog rock concept album, and it really is. These guys should definitely be applauded. So this was just my little time to kind of come on here and really pump up the jam for this particular suite of music. If you haven't already heard it, it is over 4 years old, as I've already mentioned, and I really think you should check it out if you haven't already. Give this a spin. This gets the whole notes of seal of approval. I don't really want to rate it as I usually do with my either pick it up in physical format or I love it with my whole heart kind of deal. I'll just say that it gets the note seal of approval, and go and check it out if you haven't already. This is the first and maybe only one of these medleys that I'm going to actually talk about. But if you haven't already checked out the ones from Steven Universe, other Pokemon games, other Zelda games, Over the Garden Wall, they're all available on YouTube. And once you start watching one, all the other ones will come up as recommendations. So yeah, and it's a great instrumentally to listen to whenever you're doing either work or homework or studying or anything like that. So yeah, go and check it out. It's a really, really good time. And you don't even need to be an Ocarina of Time player like me, because I didn't play the game and I still really found myself digging and grooving to all these tunes. So yeah, go and check it out. And that's about it for me. What did you guys think of the soundtrack of Ocarina of Time? But it's a prog rock concept album. If you've played the game, how does it play into the overall music found on here? If you haven't played the game, what was it like listening to the music for the first time? And did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, let me know by commenting down below. If you like what you see and you want to help support me, consider donating to my Patreon. I've left the link down below. Even $1 a month really does go a long way to help me and it helps me kind of do what I love to do. And check out my podcast, Quid Prog Quo. I have a few videos on my YouTube channel for that. You can also check out Quid Prog Quo on the YouTubes or wherever you find your podcasts. And I think that's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.